Hello, my dear friends. I'm Dr. Wasim I Khan, Assistant Professor, Shri Shivaji Law College, Parbhani, Maharashtra, India. So, today's point of discussion will be the third part of topic of vicarious liability, which dealt with the exceptions available for the principle of vicarious liability. So, we will discuss along with the exception the case laws and examples. So, let's start the topic. Exception to vicarious liability we will discuss in this lecture. In the previous lecture, we have discussed the essentials of vicarious liability. On proving the essentials of vicarious liability, plaintiff will succeed in his claim and the defendant will be held responsible for that. So whenever a person wants to get a compensation from the master for the tort of his servant, then he has to prove a certain essentials. If he proves that essential, he will get a compensation. But suppose if he fails to prove that essential, he will not get a compensation. But there are a certain exception to this vicarious liability when master will not be held responsible for the tort of his servant, when principal will not be held responsible for the tort of his agent, when the partner will not be held responsible for the tort of his co-partner. We will discuss in this particular lecture. So essential, we have discussed that if we want to file a suit against the master, we have to prove the essential. The first one is that the tort must be committed by the servant, and the second one is the tort must be committed in course of employment. So whatever it may be the working hours of that servant or agent, if he commits any tort in that particular working hours, master will be held responsible for that. We have discussed. So to hold master liable, we have to prove that the servant has committed a tort and he has committed a tort in the course of employment. We have discussed in earlier lecture. So introduction, we have also discussed in the previous lecture that generally a man is liable for the wrong committed by him. So normally a person who has committed the tort, who has committed a wrong, will be held responsible. No person will be held responsible for the tort committed by others. But there are certain circumstances in which one person becomes liable for the tort committed by another. But there are certain circumstances in which one person is liable for the tort committed by another person due to the existence of a certain relationship. So one person is liable for the tort committed by other. It means master will be held responsible for the tort committed by servant. Principal will be held responsible for the tort committed by agent. Partner will be held responsible for the tort committed by co-partner, because all these person is doing an act for the benefit of other person. Servant is doing his act for the benefit of master. Agent is doing his act for the benefit of principal. That's why principal or master is held liable for the tort committed by servant. But it is a very essential part that the tort must be committed by the servant and the tort must be committed in course of employment. But there are a certain exception to this rule when master will not be held responsible. So the first exception to this rule is outside the course of employment. We have discussed that master will be held responsible for the tort of his servant if the servant commits a tort in course of employment, whatever it may be the duty hours. Suppose if the duty hours of servant or agent is from morning 8 to afternoon 2 o'clock. These are the duty hours. If the servant and agent commits a tort in that particular duty hours, master will be held responsible, no doubt, because he is doing the master's work in that particular time. But suppose when 2 o'clock is there, after 2 o'clock, the course of employment comes to an end, the duty hours comes to an end, and after 2 o'clock, if a servant or agent commits any tort, this act will comes outside the course of employment, and under such circumstances, master will not be held responsible. So if the servant, if the agent commits a tort during the course of employment, whatever it may be the duty hours, master will be held responsible. But after duty hours, if servant or agent commits any tort, master will not be held responsible, because it comes under the category of outside the course of employment. And if servant or agent does any wrongful act outside the course of employment, master or principal will not be held responsible for that. But the agent or servant himself will be held responsible. So the first exception is outside the course of employment. Second one is lending of servant. Suppose if the original master or original principal lend his servant or agent to someone else for a particular time. Suppose if I lend my servant to my friend for 1 week, and in that particular 1 week my friend has given a payment to my servant and he enjoyed a supervision over my servant, and the servant is doing act according to the direction of my friend. And if in that particular 1 week if my servant commits a tort, I will not be held responsible for that, but my friend will be held responsible. So I lend my servant to my friend for 1 week, and in that particular 1 week if my servant commits any tort, I will not be held responsible because I have already lended my servant to my friend. So my friend will be held responsible for that. So I can take the benefit, I can take the defense that I lend my servant to my friend, and that's why my friend is responsible, I am not responsible. In that particular 1 week, my friend enjoyed the service of my servant. My friend paid the salary to my servant. My friend supervised the work of my servant. And my servant was doing the act for the benefit of my friend. That's why I will not be held responsible if my servant commits a tort in that particular period. This is a lending of servant. So lending of servant is also one of the exception to the liability of master. Vicarious liability, this is the exception to vicarious liability. Third one is unauthorized act. Suppose if my servant does any act which is unauthorized one, I have not authorized my servant to do a particular act. If he does that unauthorized act, I will not be held responsible. Suppose if I appointed a gardener, so my servant's act is to gardening, and suppose if he is gardening and during that particular process if he commits a tort, I will be held responsible for that, because I have appointed my servant to do that particular thing. But suppose if my gardener drives my car and while driving the car he has committed an accident, then I will not be held responsible for that because I have not authorized my gardener to drive a car. That's why I will not be held responsible for that. So if the act itself is unauthorized one, my servant does an act which is unauthorized one, then I will not be held responsible, but my servant himself will be held responsible for that. So these are the three exceptions to the liability of master, to the principle of vicarious liability. If my case comes under these three categories, then I can avoid my liability by taking the defense of these three exceptions. So these are the exceptions which we have discussed. I hope you understand this topic. If you understand this topic, please subscribe my channel, hit the notification button, hit the like button, and share this video with your friends. Thank you. Thank you very much.